6, 4, crowd roars. This is what we think T20 cricket is. But what happens when the boundaries stop? What happens when you are 3 down inside the power play and you don't know what to do next? Dot, dot, another dot, and suddenly the field doesn't look small anymore. Suddenly the bowler doesn't look easy anymore. Modern T20 cricket has trained batters to attack, take that aggressive route. It has not trained them to rebuild. Yesterday wasn't just about individual failures. Sri Lanka, India exposed the same structural flaw. The most dangerous skill in T20 today is not only power hitting, it is also strike rotation, it is also building partnerships, it is also rebuilding an innings after a collapse. The art of turning ones into twos, turning pressure into control, and the art of building when everything is collapsing. And until teams relearn that art, collapses like yesterday will keep happening. Let's talk about this missing art of T20 batting. My name is Chinmoy, along with Sanlap. Welcome to Deep Point, where we go beyond scorecards and talk about the stories and narratives that shape the game. Sanlap, the most teams now approach T20 as one gear, right? Attack, 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 and taking that aggressive route. They believe that momentum means boundaries, momentum means cricket is about boundaries, momentum is about scoring runs quickly, but momentum is also about control, right? So let's talk a bit about this new age approach of cricket and what should teams like Sri Lanka and say India and to some extent England also and their baseball and many other terms that we see in mainstream media, how teams can deal with such new age approaches that they think that's the single best way to play T20 cricket. Let's discuss how can they address this situation and rebuild their approach and take a different route that can be more profitable for them in the long run and also in this important tournament.
Yeah. So, firstly, what comes into my mind is we have discussed only about, a few teams, for example, India, Sri Lanka. Though Sri Lanka's approach during the Australian chase, during the chase
Hmm.
against Australia, where they chased down 182, I found their chase very systematic. They somehow faltered yesterday. India has also chased down very systematic totals, like, they have chased down, totals like 180, 190 very systematically when they have played bilateral series. So what actually went wrong yesterday? So there are a few things that we need to look at. So all hits and, all sixes and, fours, high strike rates, terms like baseball or all these, 300 is due and everything, the way things are getting promoted, the way or kind of we in Indian circuit, in Indian T20 circuit, we can name this syndrome as SRH syndrome. Somehow, Sunrisers Hyderabad, after they, kind of transformed the game, they changed the T20 game with Abhishek, Travis Head. Now they are having Ishan also, Klassen. So the way they have brought this idea that just change the entire course of the game inside the power play, make runs like 75, 80 inside 6 overs, and no matter whether you are batting first or batting second, it just takes the game away from the opponents. We sometimes talk about, generally we talk about Sunrisers Hyderabad. We forget that the same approach was adopted by KKR also in that 2024 victory. And who was the coach? Mr. Gambhir. And he did the same thing with the help of Salt and Narayan. KKR actually, played brilliantly in that entire tournament inside the power play, if you remember.
Hmm.
We used to have to see explosive starts, and thanks to Salt and Narayan, and later on Raghuvanshi, players like Raghuvanshi or Venkatesh, they also used to keep the momentum alive and they used to take the game ahead.
When he was captain, then Lin and Narayan
Lean
also
and Narayan.
also used to play in the same fashion. So we
Yes.
know that template of power
Yes,
play
yes.
batting.
So that's a template that is
Mm,
followed by Gigi. So he started the same thing in Indian T20 circuit also. Now the problem with this approach is this approach can only be useful in some grounds. Okay. First and foremost, your ball should be coming to bat very nicely. I'm not talking about only flat grounds. The same approach can be, very useful in South African or Australian pitches also. If because the ball will come to the bat very fast. Only problem that might be happening over there is the dimensions of the ground. But along with that, so if I'm just keeping that problem apart from it, then otherwise it can be emulated in those grounds. This approach can be very useful in grounds of New Zealand also. Okay, because smaller grounds, the balls come to bat very fast. But this approach is extremely dangerous when it comes to subcontinental pitches.
mm,
So where this you are actually kind of starting or you want to play this approach, the same home grounds, you might not be able to, carry this thing forward because we in this part of the world we generally have black soil pitches. So when we are having black soil pitches, we know that the pitches become a little bit tacky. Ball will not come to the bat very easily, like as easy as it will be in grounds of Australia or New Zealand. And at the same time, if you are having only this game, then it can be very dangerous. So that's the point where we are trying to focus. If you are having this game, it's very good. Then on some days, on some grounds, on some types of grounds, you are becoming almost a beast of the game. So you are becoming a monster. You are just eat up your opponents and you just make every plans fail. That's very good. But if you are having only this game, then it's not going to work in a tournament of World T20 where we will be having so many types of ground. Let's have the example of the chase that was successfully done by Zimbabwe against Sri Lanka.
mm,
I'm just taking that example today. So it was a chase of 179 odd runs. So not very far from what India was chasing yesterday. And it was a relatively a bigger ground. It was not a small ground. It was in R. Premadasa. And the way Zimbabwe planned the entire chase. Look at this guy, Brian Bennett. India is going to play Zimbabwe
mm,
in Chennai in another 2 days. So Zimbabwe, as of now, has batted more scientifically and more tactically than India. Okay, against Australia and also against Sri Lanka. Now, the way they chased down in the entire power play, instead of going for fours and sixes, they nudged for couples, nudged for ones and twos more. And finally, the power play score was 54 to 55 runs in 6 overs, which is extremely good when you are chasing a total of 180. Just think, had India scored that many runs, even at the cost of 1 or 2 wickets at the end of 6 overs yesterday, don't you really think that India would have pulled off this chase very easily, keeping in mind the firepower that they have in the middle order with Hardik and Dubey? So what happened yesterday is India just plain and simple went for the big shots. And finally, when they came up with the plan of bowling only slowers, and some of them were mixing fast balls and slower balls so tactically, that's again a very dangerous thing.
mm,
So yesterday, two bowlers, Ngidi and Marco, they were becoming extremely lethal. First and foremost, Ngidi did not bowl any fast balls. He bowled all the balls, slower balls. All six of the balls that he was bowling in any over were slower balls. He gave away only 15 runs. He could not pick any wicket. He gave away only 15 runs in 4 overs. Marco was the wrecker in chief because he was mixing things up. Okay. The ball in which he dismissed Abhishek was also a slower one. So that's the kind of problem that he was creating while bowling. Some fast balls, some slower balls, and confusing the batsman. Now, what could have been the ideal solution to this? Why? I don't know. Ahmedabad is a very big ground. You are having just once you just, penetrate the gap,
Mm.
at least you can go for 2 runs, you can go for 3 runs also in grounds like this
Yeah, you have to use those
very easily.
pockets and play on
Exactly.
those gaps.
No usage, surprisingly, no usage of pockets was done
Mm.
yesterday.
Mm.
Nobody. Everyone started like right from the very beginning. Our top three, Ishan, Abhishek, and Tilak, all went for big shots, and all went to first and foremost. Their approach was to clear the infield. I don't know why. The initial collapse that South Africa had, they also were trying to do the same, and they also had their top three down in a very short period of time.
Mm.
And if you remember the way Miller played, Miller was not going for high percentage shots at the very beginning. He was just going for the force. He was picking up the gaps,
Brevis
maybe
too.
singles.
Brevis was also
Brevis
building.
too.
Mm.
Brevis also. So Brevis and Miller, the way they
Mm.
built up the partnership, India did not have a single person
Mm.
who could do that.
Mm.
I am not going to believe this that if someone is bowling slower,
Mm.
you cannot nudge these bowlers for singles and couples in a big ground like Ahmedabad.
Mm.
Then there is a serious problem in your skill sets.
Yeah.
If you could not, if you are dismissed because of going for high percentage shots, then it's fine. Then your approach was wrong.
Mm.
Then I think that this can be a good lesson.
Mm.
But if you do not have the game at all, that
Mm.
you can just nudge for singles, couples, only through singles and doubles and sometimes a four, you can maintain a run rate of 8. Yesterday, that would have kept India alive in the game at least for 13 to 14 overs.
Mm.
If India just continued this risk-free game, India did not do that.
Mm.
That's the point where India lost.
Yeah. So I will bring back the discussion a bit from the India versus South Africa match, just to talk about the importance of strike rotation. So, what generally happens when you do not turn dots into singles or doubles or triples? The bowlers can pin you, and they can execute their plans against you as a batter. So they have plans against each of the batters. The moment you hit into gaps through soft hands, and again we will talk about this technique part, that here you have to use soft hands rather than hard
Soft
hands that
hands.
you use for power hitting. So soft hands, say into offside, drop and run, and you what you are doing, this is not just a single run. What you are doing, you are totally disrupting the bowler's plan, and it also prevents pressure from building. The two surface level, at least surface level benefit that you are getting from a single is: one, you are disrupting the bowler's plan; two, you are not allowing the pressure to build, and therefore you will not throw your wickets and come back to the pavilion. The third thing is, if there is a righty and lefty combo batting there, so it also again disrupt the bowler's length and line. Okay, so there are multiple benefits of taking singles, doubles, triples, and that's how we talk about the greats. Michael Bevan, we talk about Michael
Dhoni,
Hussey, Dhoni,
Dhoni,
Virat Kohli, all these
Virat.
all these players, even talk about players like, say, Pakistan greats like even Mohammad Yusuf and others. Mohammad
Yunus
Yunis
Khan,
also, Yunis Khan
Yunus
also, sorry,
Khan,
Yunis Khan.
Yunus Khan,
So
Shoaib Malik.
They used to pick those singles and doubles, and they used to build that innings and build partnerships. And we will also talk about building partnerships. But first, let's talk about why can't batters in today's time can't have that approach. Two, 3 points we should discuss. One, whether we have right kind of personnel for such kind of roles, whether we have that. For example, in India, we could have taken Shreyas Iyer, who is good in that. He can just drop the ball in say in offside and in point and just a bit beside the point fielder and those pockets that are in offside and also can flick and take those singles. So one, we are not having right personnel for right roles, those kinds of roles. Second, whether the team management is sending these players with a fixed kind of
Yes,
message and
yes,
strategy,
yes,
and
yes.
therefore the
That's the
players
problem.
can't change their game when the situations are changing in on the pitch, and they know that they have to now take singles and doubles. They are in that mindset. Third, the kind of training that you are having, the kind of net session you are having. So you look at the net sessions, you look at the net session of say Virat Kohli. He always take those ones and twos, and he in his mind he is visualizing those ones and twos and which pocket he is playing those single, all that. You look at next session of say Sanju Samson, then Abhishek Sharma, then Ishan Kishan. All of them are range hitting, all of them are playing those big shots. Is it one of these reasons, or is it a combination of say not having right personnel, not having proper kind of mindset, messaging, and strategy, and you are not having the right kind of preparation for such kind of a game? So let's talk about these three aspects, and you can obviously add any aspect that you think is important for having such kind of batting approach in T20 cricket or any format. So here we're talking about T20 cricket. So
T20 cricket.
yeah, so let's talk about this kind of approach in
So I'm just asking you one simple question. So if you want to, if you have a plan to, crack UPSC, would you prepare for IIT? No,
not at all.
right? You will prepare for UPSC. So your preparation is subject to what you are planning or what you are trying to achieve.
Mm,
Okay. Now, the fact that you said that these guys are not preparing for that, so these guys now they are not Virat Kohli,
mm,
so they are not deciding what they are going to prepare. They are going by some sort of decisions that are made by the management. Now, what they would be preparing for? They are preparing for whatever they are asked to. Okay. Now, in this case, we know that there is one good thing about the entire Indians batting lineup, that their role is so much clear to everyone that they are not even now
mm,
flexible to adapt with the circumstances that are present. So the kind of role clarity that we always talk about, the role is so much clear to them that okay, my name is Abhishek Sharma, I will hit the ball. My name is Ishan Kishan, I will hit the ball. Tilak
mm,
is like, I don't know what, like, sometimes I am going to hit the ball, but again, am I the anchor? Am I the hitter? He is
mm,
now in that fix. Sanju knows that yes, I am Sanju Samson, I will have to hit the ball.
mm,
Surya knows that I am anchor, so I cannot hit the ball.
mm,
Okay, so now see how Surya is playing. I'm just giving you one simple thing. Surya is looking so confused in quite a few stages. So apart from the game that he played against USA and the game that he played against Pakistan, other than this, I did not find Surya, very clear about what he is trying to do. He is first and foremost, he is, trying to be the anchor, but again, he is not being able to pick up the gaps because he is trying to play mostly in the V region. Now, the V region is not exactly Surya's comfort zone.
mm,
Surya's comfort zone is the V region in the backside. The
mm,
front V region is not exactly Surya's comfort zone. What does Surya remind of you?
mm,
What kind of shots you can relate with Surya? He can play the shots,
mm.
but do you really think that his strongest comfort zone is in the frontal V
No.
or in the fine leg to third man, that week. Okay. Now the fact is, Surya is trying to nudge for
Mm,
singles and doubles. But the point is, Surya is not being able to,
mm,
and that is actually halting the entire run rate. Yesterday, Abhishek played 12 balls, he scored only 15 runs. And in that 15 runs, he scored two fours and one six. So 14 runs and a single, four balls. And four balls, and that means he had played 8 dots in his short stay of 12 balls. So that is a that what is the dot ball percentage? 8 out of 12. So it's a 75% dot ball percentage. 75? No, I think it's 67%.
67.
67% of dot ball percentage. 67 percentage of dot ball is kind of a crime in T20. Why I am giving the example of Zimbabwe's batting? Zimbabwe has defeated Australia in a longer, very tacky ground of R. Premadasa. They scored 169 batting first, and they chased down 179 against Sri Lanka. What is the overall dot ball percentage in both the games? Against Australia, their dot ball percentage was 28%. Against Sri Lanka, their dot ball percentage was 25%. Against Australia, Australia scored more runs in boundaries than Zimbabwe. Around, I think 23 or 22, 23 odd runs more in boundaries than Zimbabwe. But yet, Zimbabwe won the match by a margin of 20, 24, 23 runs. So till now, the kind of game that you are talking about, if one team which that has played that sensible cricket in tough pitches, in all the difficult pitches to bat on, then my answer is Zimbabwe. Very, very surprising, but my answer is Zimbabwe. They have a batsman who is yet to be dismissed. So the game that you are talking about of singles, doubles, sometimes threes, not entirely relying on fours and sixes. They have defeated Australia by batting first. They have chased down almost 180, like 179 against Sri Lanka, who has a decent spin attack.
Another issue of this binary approach of either boundaries or nothing kind of an approach is you are not focusing on the nuances of the game. For example, you are not first assessing the condition. So suppose you obviously your strategists and your think tank, they assessed the situation. Suppose they are wrong, right? And now after when you are in the crease and you are seeing that the kind of information fed to me are completely wrong. Okay, I'm seeing a completely different pitch. Okay, and if you look at the before toss in pitch report, most of the times they read it wrong. That I think this is a 230 pitch. I think this is a 240 pitch.
Yes.
Today India will score 250 plus. So most of the times the pitch reading is wrong. That means the think tank will also feed you wrong information or not so perfect information because it's not possible. You have to go there in the crease and assess the situation. So when you are in this binary kind of an approach, you are not focusing on the condition that you have. You are also not understanding bowler's rhythm. For example, and we should not only talk about India, there are other teams are also doing committing the same mistake or having the same approach.
We can talk about Australia also.
Australia also
did the same problem.
Yeah. When you are not understanding bowler's rhythm and his or her strategy and the kind of balls that the bowler is having, it's like a chess game. You also have to understand and predict and the moves that your opponent will have. But the moment you have this in mind that I will go with this binary approach, then you will not going to focus too much into that or put your attention to that. Third is you will not also spot the weak fielders that are there in the field and use those pockets and those fielders to pick, say, they convert ones into twos. So you will also not go for that. And you are thinking that the only way to come out of this situation is through those boundaries. That's what Indian openers were doing. And the same mistake South African openers also made. They were also trying to play shots against Bumrah with the new ball, play and Arshdeep, you play them in their good days. You have to just play them around and take singles and then target other bowlers. bit about, and let's discuss a bit about this approach and the background to this. Why most of the new age batters and most of the teams are having such binary approach when it comes to T20 cricket, and some elements of that is, so the trickle down effect of that is that you can see in test cricket also. The trickle down effect of that you can see in one days also. So let's discuss a bit about that approach and why the background to this. Why it is happening? Why most of the teams and most of the think tank are going for such approaches? And I'm adding another element to this. When these players play in IPL, okay, there are many other reasons, but I'm just putting forward two main reasons. The bowlers are not that great. There are many domestic bowlers with not much international exposure and exposure at a higher level, and therefore you can pick those not so strong bowlers and you can play your shots. Second is BCCI generally prepares, and any board, if you
Flat decks.
flat decks,
Flat
if you
decks.
want to make your franchisee league attractive, there must be fours and sixes, otherwise that and we can debate on that, but general perception is there has to be fours and sixes. I'm watching SRH batting. Why? Because I know they will play those shots, and that's attractive for most of the viewers. So when you look at that record and look at that approach and try to replicate the same in international cricket and in a tournament like World T20, where the pitches are monitored and to some extent influenced by another body, that is ICC, and they can come up with, and the local curator can also come up with different pitches. So there are many elements and nuances to it. So let's discuss what is the reason behind the approaches that these teams are taking, and why they're keep continuing that. They're not changing that approach. They're a bit fixated and rigid in their approach in that.
Okay, so I think the problem starts when playing style becomes an identity of any team. So, say for example, the same problem England has suffered from in tests, like the entire terminology that baseball, that's the identity or the style of the game that it is associated with them. Now when any playing style is associated with you, the basic problem is then the match will not determine your playing style. The fact that you play baseball, that will determine your playing style. That's a very dangerous thing. Not in You cannot play the same style in every condition. Somehow or the other, India's problems in T20 cricket, whatever we could see yesterday, or maybe as of now in this version of World Cup, that's also the same. So as we are talking about this entire, SRH syndrome, that if we are batting first, then we will be making scores of 230, 240. If we have a target of 180 to achieve, then we will be chasing it down in 12, 13 overs. Okay, very good to see in the bilateral series. We were having, when India was doing all these things in New Zealand series, we were also being very happy as Indian fans. So let's not deny that. But the fact of the matter is, every time your conditions will not let you do that. South Africa is a very good team. I don't think whatever happened yesterday,
Mm,
it can happen. It can happen against any other team, because any other team is not as exposed with Indian conditions and Indian players as much South Africa is. So when your opponent will be having enough data points on you, like the way they went after Varun Chakravarti. So there is a very interesting stats that Ashwin was giving, a little bit off topic, but you will understand how
mm,
well South Africa knows India. So that will actually, kind of answer a lot of questions. In Varun Chakravarti's entire career, 5 times he has gone more than 50 runs.
mm.
Okay, 50 or more runs in his spell of 4 overs, and four of them came against
South
South
Africa.
Africa. Okay, so basically, South Africans have a good. So Varun has his success stories and his failure stories both against South Africa. Now the thing is, there was a reason because of which he was taken down. Now, so far as bowlers are concerned, see the bowlers that were bowling yesterday: Bosch, NBD, Janssen, Rabada. They are four proper pacers. They are not some some pacers who are coming from any clubs or any team which is not well experienced. They
Mm,
have proper experience behind them, and they have bowled well in Indian conditions also. And they know how to create troubles to the batters. Now they know that you play this brand of cricket. So they will have all the weapons against this brand of cricket. They will not let you to play this brand of cricket,
mm,
right? Now, when you make that brand your identity, then what happens is you are feeling like if I play some other version, a little bit more sensible version of cricket, then I might, get my identity compromised. That doesn't happen. In
mm,
cricket, you have to win. Sometimes you will have to take a back seat. You will have to give proper respect to the bowlers. Okay, I cannot hit you for a six. I'm not going to try even hitting for a six for the time being. I will take you, I will take singles. I will, keep the run rate to 7 to 8. I will let the asking rate grow a little bit, on the higher side to 11 and 12. If I have wickets in my hand, then required rate of 11, 12 is achievable.
mm,
It is achievable because by then the bowlers will also have frustration in them, as you were correctly mentioning, because you confuse the bowlers when you keep the scoreboard ticking. Maybe you are not going as at par with the asking rate, but since you are keeping the scoreboard ticking and since you are still in the game and the wickets are not falling, the pressure, the momentum gets shifted to the bowlers, and they start you know bowling the false deliveries, and also they start leaking runs in short. So India did not give that chance. Now the problem here is that happened yesterday also. Since wickets were falling, South Africa didn't have to change their strategy at all.
mm,
They just went with one strategy, and it was so successful that even they also did not know beforehand that
mm.
it will work like this much. Okay.
Everything
Now
fell in place for them.
everything fell in place. So whatever they planned, I just wondered. There was no cheeky shots into the gaps.
Mm,
You know, there India did not make the fielders work hard.
mm,
Maybe if India is taking ones and twos constantly, then the fielders are also very much on their toes.
mm,
One of the one of the greatest chases of Indian T20 history is, or maybe the greatest chase was that Virat Kohli chase
mm,
against Pakistan in
mm,
Melbourne.
mm.
India were, I think, 49 for 4 in after 10 overs,
Same
45 to
situation. So
49 for,
I just
I think,
saw
even
a
worse.
graphic
Uh,
comparing Surya with Virat Kohli. So 49 for 4, 49 for
mm,
4. Same situation.
After 10
Both of the
overs.
after
After
10.
10 overs, 49 for 4.
Yeah, yeah.
So after 14, I think yesterday's target was a little bit higher than what Virat Kohli
Mm,
was chasing. But again, that 49 for 4 could have been 59 for 4
mm,
also.
mm,
Had Surya, Tilak, and or okay, Tilak got out early, but
mm,
had Surya and the middle order batsmen,
mm,
if they were a little bit more sensible, or
mm,
Washington, like playing Washington is such one of the biggest blunders. Washington has this problem of not picking up singles
mm,
and doubles. If you
mm,
have looked
mm,
Washington throughout, even in the test,
mm,
just think of the Lord's test where he was batting with the tail, and finally India could not surpass the first innings score of England.
mm,
So for a long time India was stuck at one place,
mm.
and Washington was playing. There was, like, he could not even run for a single run.
And we're talking about,
Washington has this
yeah, yeah.
problem.
And this
And
uh, oh,
just I am just
yeah,
adding
sure.
one point
Mm,
before you come.
mm,
Just replace Akshar in that role. Akshar is a massive proponent of taking those ones
mm,
and twos.
mm,
So yesterday India did not play the player they
Mm,
They just had to, instead, India played that batsman who actually was not fit
mm,
for, playing in that scenario. I
mm,
don't know what
mm.
management is thinking. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think players like Washi. So when you mention Test cricket and Washi, I just this reminds me of situations where India got stuck in Test cricket also because our
Yes,
players could not rotate
yes,
strikes. So that's the problem
yes,
in Test cricket
yes, yes,
also. That's the problem
yes, yes.
in one day. Why the situations are a bit different? Because we have few personnel who are better than say the kind of personnel we are using in Test cricket and T20. Yes, Iyer is there, so he can rotate strike a bit, and there are few more players. I think Jaswal is brilliant in strike rotation. At least when he's a bit set. Initially, he will
Hmm,
play
hmm,
his shots, but then he will rotate strike. He knows how to build an innings, and he in Test cricket also, in ODI also, we have seen that he can take your side over the line. That kind of game is there.
true.
But I just want to add another aspect to it, that is when we talk and let's talk about culture. Okay, we always talk about team culture and the kind of culture you have, and that dictates the kind of game, kind of approach you take generally. And culture for me is not what you preach, it's what you promote, right? So for example, suppose you are saying that we have to rotate strikes, we have to play a balanced game, we have to understand the situation and play according to the situation and according to the opponent bowlers and everything. But what you are promoting is Suryavanshi and the kind of cricket he is playing. What you are promoting is, say, Jaswal and the flamboyant cricket he is playing. You are promoting, say, Rian Parag, who is again a flamboyant character. You are say you have promoted players like Hardik Pandya, who is again flamboyant and play his shots. Surya in his initial days, now he has become captain, but he is again a flamboyant kind of a character. And we have promoted all these. And if you look at the whole team, you can see a similarity in kind of the way they conduct themselves and the kind of attitude they have. They say that we always watch those reels where we say that this SRH team is team of gangsters. This Indian team is team of gangsters. That means you are promoting uh, flamboyant nature of these players, and therefore that becomes the culture, and that shows in on field. Why? Because taking those singles is not cool. Hitting those sixes is cool. How many sixes you have hit in this particular match? So remember the discussion we had when Suryavanshi and Matre got out in the final, I think. Final match or
Hmm.
one match against Pakistan. Both of them got out.
Yeah, under 19 final. Huh?
Final. Huh. So
Asia Cup under 19 final. The final that India lost against Pakistan. Yes.
yes, and I remember we discussed in detail
Hmm.
how such kind of flamboyant approach is problematic. You could have easily rotated strikes and get set and then play your shots. You have that game. You use think when to use that game. For example, yesterday we were talking about Dhoni and how Dhoni changed his batting position and batting approach. And we can always debate whether Dhoni sometimes took a lot of time and that cost us a tournament or cost us a game. That's a different discussion. But also talk about how many times Dhoni actually has taken us over the line. Okay, so we have to talk about that, and there we have to talk about how he has taken that measured approach, and how he was tactical when he was batting, how he used to understand situations, understand opponents, understand players, which bowler to target, which bowler to play around and take singles. So somehow we have to think about the kind of culture what we are promoting rather than what we are preaching. So let's discuss a bit about how can we change the culture now, because we have this culture. You look at all the, and I remember Harsha Bogle talked about this in one podcast or in one of his videos, that now players always think if we can have those power hitting game, then we can earn a lot of money. we can get those contracts and we can earn a lot of money in franchisee cricket. That's the kind of mindset that most of the players are having, and what it is doing to the overall culture is we are again promoting that, and we are not promoting players, domestic players who can play good against spin, who can actually play sweep shots, who can actually rotate strikes. We are not giving them opportunities. We are saying, no, you are not fit for the kind of philosophy. You talked about identities or the kind of identity we have as a team. Therefore, you don't have the game to be fit for this particular culture, particular identity, particular approach that we are having in the team. So let's discuss how to change that, because obviously you have to. So we lost against England in semi-final in one of the T20 World Cup, and then Rohit changed the approach. But you should not come to another extreme where you are just playing mindless shots and you are not understanding the game properly. You are not reading the game properly. So let's talk about the how to change that culture.
Okay, okay. So let's start from the first question of yours, that what to do with the fact that now flamboyant or the flamboyance is an old term. Now we have a very Gen Z term. We call it aura farming.
Mm-hmm.
So this aura farming thing. Okay, if I am just mentioning this term to you, flamboyant aura farming, which cricketer comes to your mind the first?
Hardik
Which
Pandya.
Indian cricketer?
Hardik Pandya. So
Hardik Pandya. Okay, no, not not the current aura farming. I'm just talking about the flamboyant nature, a, a, a person against when he comes to the field, there is an absolute the environment changes. If I talk about the last 10 years of Indian cricket, which cricketer comes to your mind?
uh,
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli, yes.
Virat Kohli
And most of these players,
there any is
most
there
of
any
these players, I
cricketer
think,
more
copied.
So, is there any cricketer more flamboyant
Mm,
or having the more aura farming than
mm,
Virat Kohli? I don't think so. Okay. So now we have adopted the flamboyance and
Samuel
aura
part.
farming,
Yeah,
but we did not adopt
yeah.
this the style of game that made Virat Kohli the Virat
Mm,
Kohli he is. Virat Kohli was not a six hitter. He now has started hitting the balls long.
mm,
But again, he has made his career on the basis of sensible batting.
mm,
His entire career is based on sensible batting.
mm,
And when you are talking about, I think this whether in what happens to their pedigree when they start playing this running between the wicket game. I think more importantly, rather than being in the flamboyant or maybe in the inside that aura, you will have to be match winners.
mm,
So all these things, they are temporary.
mm,
This any brand of cricket that is coming and going. Baseball also
mm,
initially, it was very dangerously. It was evolving. Now we are hardly talking about baseball because that could not win England matches.
mm,
Okay. Previously, like West Indies, what happened with West Indies is West Indies was playing with all the batsmen who used to hit the ball long.
mm,
Finally, what happened as a team, they failed not only in tests and ODIs,
mm,
in T20s as well. So so that made them win two trophies in T20s. Let's not forget
mm,
that they won two T20 World Cup trophies.
mm,
But even after that, they could not be the same West Indies.
mm,
But finally, I don't know, maybe India is going to the same path if India doesn't check
mm,
what kind of game they are promoting. The
mm,
points that you have raised, they are not only true, but they are extremely critical also. Critical
mm,
and
mm.
so yeah, so
And
that's my point.
yeah, I think we what we are doing, and after this franchisee cricket, introduction of franchisee cricket, and the all the teams are competing and all the teams are thinking, how can we? And if you look at T20 cricket in franchisee format, you will see that who will win depends on the numbers of sixes and fours that you have hit as a team. So suppose a team has
Absolutely.
hit 40 boundaries. If you can hit 41, then you can win the match. That's the kind of philosophy the franchisee teams are having. So we are uh, celebrating strike rate, and we are also mocking some players because of strike rate. For example, KL Rahul generally at the wrong end of this conversation, where many players, including Kevin Peterson, talked about his strike rate, and the moment KL Rahul is playing his shots, then we and many other players and stakeholders, they are celebrating him. So we are not celebrating situational awareness. That's what I think. You also have to celebrate situational awareness. You also have to celebrate those players who can read a particular match much better than others. And as you mentioned, Virat Kohli used to say that his coach had taught him that when you are on the field, it's your responsibility to win the match and then come back to the pavilion. But what is
Absolutely.
happening right now, there are players who are staying on the field, still the teams are losing. So, for example, think about yesterday's innings, India's innings. At the midway, we know that we are losing the match. Despite having Hardik Pandya and Shivam Dube on crease, we knew that we are losing that match. Why? Because we did not rotate strikes. We did not play a different brand of cricket. We stuck to the brand of cricket on paper. So we are always thinking on paper that this is the kind of cricket we will play. This is the identity, as you mentioned, we have. This is the culture we have. We are the top team. You are having advertisements, and you are having different kinds of reels and videos in mainstream media and YouTube and Insta and many other social media platforms, that we will demolish these teams are nothing against us, we are playing this 300 plus kind of a game. So all that is adding to a culture that is detrimental for our own cricket and our quality of cricket. And we can see the impact of that in our test cricket format, or test, the kind of game that, or kind of approach that we are having in test cricket, and the kind of results we are having there. Now what we are seeing is that kind of an approach is not working in T20 also, and which is really concerning, right? uh, let's talk a bit about the solutions and way forward. What, just to summarize, where should we go from here? What are the steps we should take, not just to save this current tournament and win the trophy? That's one discussion, but also for the future of our cricket, and future of crickets of all the other teams, okay, who are playing such brand of cricket. For example, England and say Australia, and many other teams who think this is the way we should go, and we should move, and we should just demolish the opposition by playing those shots. What are the few pointers how they should move forward, they should get out of this rut, if I can call it that?
Okay, so now you mentioned that after that semi-final loss in Adelaide against England, so that changed the course and that changed the picture of Indian T20 cricket, and also in one-day cricket also a little bit, a lot. Now, I would not say that it changed the mentality of every cricketer. It changed the mentality of captain, and he was Rohit Sharma. He started to play a new form of game which we best saw during the 2023 World Cup. His brand of cricket changed. He did not change Kohli's brand of cricket. He did not change like even Surya's brand of cricket was also there. So now if you just think about the 2024 2020 World Cup, the batting performances of India, not in every game India batted really well. So India faltered in quite a few cases because the pitches were very tacky and difficult to bat on. But India knew how to adapt. Rohit did not change his game that much. He played his natural game. In some games he felt he made the best game came against Australia. That famous, I think 90 odd runs that he scored against Australia. If we look at Kohli, Kohli failed all throughout the tournament and he succeeded only in the final. Now, who were making these runs then all throughout? In some matches, Surya played that sensible brand of cricket and he took India, to a decent total. In some matches, Akshar did that role. In some matches, Rishabh did that role. Now, everyone played in a way that they are known to play. Akshar is one such batsman who you just cannot have as your number eight. First and foremost, I'm against Akshar, batting at number eight. He is a proper middle order batsman. You have been using him in one dayers. You can use him as a middle order batsman and T20s also. But it's fine, still fine because you are having Hardik and Dubey to base the hitters. But when you are having this problems, you know that your initial batsmen are out. So what I'm suggesting is if you can't change the game of Abhishek and Ishan, then don't change their game. Let them play as they do. But have players who can milk singles and please, for God's sake, at least celebrate this, this ability. If let's not get this idea into the players that if they are not being able to hit fours and sixes in every ball, they are losing out on the public charm and flamboyance. Let's not inject these ideas into it. And first and foremost, India needs to bash these broadcasters to for making such idiotic ads that
Mm,
they are making nonsensical ads.
mm,
This time India is going to score 300, and against all the weak teams you are promoting, whether today India is going to score 300. Why? You really think that they are coming as joke? No. Okay. Then the ad of this South Africa just
mm,
before the South African match, that it was meaningless, and it was not only meaningless, it was derogatory.
mm,
You cannot make derogatory promotions just to promote your cricket side. Okay, this is not a film.
mm,
Now, and Indian audience is not that foolish also
mm,
that they will like such ads.
mm.
I don't know from where they are having this idea that India will have very positive feelings
Their
so far as these ads are concerned. These actually annoy Indian audience.
market research is faulty. I can tell you that.
Absolutely. You would know it better. You are a marketing professional. Like how faulty these type of campaigns are becoming. Now the solution can only be this. Now you cannot have a team where nobody can hit and everybody will be taking singles and doubles, no power hitters. 20 cricket also
Mm,
doesn't work like that. You need explosive openers in power play, you need sensible cricketers in the middle order, and you need explosive finishers. So this is the model of a T20 cricket, and no matter what, it is going to stay like this. You cannot change this model overnight.
mm,
If you keep this model, keep this scientific model, you are you maybe you will be losing out on some bilateral series. Okay, this might happen because of some, any day there will be some exceptional game from the other side. But in long tournaments, if you are having the best explosive batsman in the beginning, the best sensible player in the middle, the best explosive batter at the finish, at the death overs, your batting is going to be 80 to 90% successful in any tournament, any big tournament. That's how the game is played. Okay,
yep.
it's simple. So now when you are mentioning players like, Washington Sundar, you're bringing Washington Sundar in fifth position, that's not going to help
Mm,
because we know that he cannot rotate strikes.
mm,
Somebody who doesn't know how to rotate strikes, if you are not playing Shreyas Iyer in your T20 cricket team, you are missing out on a sensible batter who knows how to play spinners, and that too on Indian tracks. So anytime if you are keeping Shreyas Iyer in your batting 11, then the entire spin attack of the opposition will have to think.
mm,
You are not making your opponent. The last day, all the rants that we had, we were saying the same thing, that you are making it very obvious for the opponents.
Mm,
Three left-handers at the beginning of opponent will bring an off spinner. Explosive batters, everyone is trying to hit a six, they will keep on bowling the slowers.
mm,
Okay, you are not making them think. You are Surya is a person who can, who can take the singles and finally he can accelerate. He's the only batsman who is trying to play the sensible game, but just keep the wickets falling from the other ends, and he will eventually choke.
all
If you
right.
see, this is a
Yeah,
pattern.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
a pattern. This is a
yeah,
pattern. So
yeah.
so my point is, India will have to come out of the pattern just by playing, the players who know how to break patterns of the opponents.
Yeah. All right. So now this is our submission from our side to all the teams, all the players, obviously to our team management and our players, but also to all the teams and all the team managements and think tanks who think they can play shots and just demolish their opponents. This is our submission to all of you. So we think it's still not too late. All of you can still rethink your approach, and all these collapses, the two that we saw yesterday, are not disasters. I think these are reminders that strike rotation is not outdated. Okay, building partnerships is not old school. You can, and obviously rebuilding is not defensive cricket. And this is the final thought that we will end this episode with. We think T20 is not about hitting every ball. It's about choosing which ball to hit, right? So with that note, we will
Absolutely.
end today's episode, and thank you so much for watching. If you are liking what we are presenting here, please subscribe to our channel, please like our videos and share them with cricket lovers. We always need your support. Also comment on how we are doing in presenting the facts, the stories, the narratives, and also please give us feedback on the comment box. We look forward to your comments. We look forward to improving our content and also expand this community. So thank you so much for watching.
Absolutely.
See you in the next one.
Thank you.